I joined in January of 1996. And before that, I had been at Georgia Southern University helping them set up a doc program. And I was a professor at USC for 8 years before I went there. And then I was an executive assistant to the director of the National Institute of Education in Washington, D.C. for a year, a little over a year. And he was a presidential appointee under Reagan. So I went from Washington, D.C. to University of South Carolina to Georgia Southern, and then over to UK. I think teaching and working with doc students. I basically am looking at leadership and change in organizations. And my interest in that, as I explained to you earlier, was in the importance of organizations and making a contribution to changing society. So changing organizations was a key to that. And also seeing what a complete disaster some organizations were. That it was exciting to be able to get in and try and do some work in that regard. I think I've gravitated towards the knowledge base and leadership in organizations because I have an interest in it. I have an interest in organizations of people. We have to learn how to work with people effectively. And I'd like to share that knowledge and engage people in those conversations. I earned my tuition to go to Boston University as a harpooner on the Grand Banks on a fishing boat. And I also set up, when I was in Albuquerque, by the way, a community corporation, child care, daycare centers in Albuquerque and Santa Fe. A community corporation meaning it was a nonprofit created in the barrios by the people to run their own daycare centers. And UNM, University of New Mexico, trained the teachers, and we have nutrition specialists, and we had dental and medical, support, and so on. They were all in the barrios and also in Santa Fe. That was pretty interesting. And I set up a principal training program in South Africa, Archbishop Desmond Tutu, and I've been on four safaris, African safaris. You can see, they call this the bush camp. If I could fly fishing, but I can't get to the rivers and things, so it's gardening, fiddling around in the garden, growing things. I think if I could get back to Provence, that'd be great, or Paris, that would be fine. Anne loves Paris. She's a Francophile. We spent 2-3 weeks, 1 week in Paris a couple of years ago, and then 2 weeks in Provence, and so on. That would be great. My hobbies are hunting and shooting sporting clays. That's the little, clay frisbees that go out. I do that. It's been a little hard with the coronavirus to actually get out. It's been open, but the clubhouse and stuff, I just sort of shied away. And I grew up with shooting and hunting and all of that. So that's how I got into it. A year in Provence. Just finished it the night before last. And now I'm reading Toujours Provence by Mail. It's really funny books. Covey had a saying that you have 2 ears and 1 mouth and you should use them in proportion. It's hard to say. I think over time, I was really into reading Russian literature. My father he worked at MIT, and he had worked with a lot of scientists. And Dr. Edgerton he did the rapid cameras and things that would stop hummingbird wings in flight, and just being immersed. He worked with my dad. They to work together. He did all the cameras for atomic bomb tests and timing and firing devices. It was like this. You could see nails coming out of a building after an explosion, bullets in flight, hummingbird wings. It was all pretty cool. And I spent time in the labs because I was just a brat kicking around. And so I had a lot of influence in terms of science and research and watching people doing things that were really cool. And I don't know if you could point to whether it was the Russian literature or reading Hemingway or knowing real scientists. And then later on, I brought Nobel laureates to UNM campus and stuff. So it was just really, I liked really interesting people. Persist. Probably 60s folk, you know. That's when I was growing up. I liked that. Provence. I don't watch much sport, which is, my son-in-law doesn't understand why we don't have football on during Thanksgiving, but I don't know. I guess I have come to like soccer, the major games going, particularly women's soccer. I really like that. They were just incredibly. We went to the Olympics. I took our daughters to the Olympics to watch the American soccer team play on the Georgia campus, UGA campus. It was pretty cool. And so they were great. If I was going to watch sports, I'd do that. Oh, spy novels. Chocolate.
Plain black coffee?
Oh, no, with milk, just to take the edge off, but yeah.
Cool. Good. That is the list of questions. I'm going to pause.